Go.
Hey everyone, it's Miss Worth again, coming back at week 2 of remote learning, trying to teach you some math, talk about stuff that we've kind of talked about before, again doing some SOL prep review. We talked about hourly pay mostly last week. I see that most of you have submitted your work. Please, if you haven't, make sure you still submit it. It's better getting late points than getting no points at all. So, what we're talking about today, the first thing we're going to talk about is salary, okay? You can get paid hourly. And another way that we talked about is that you can get paid salary, which most teachers get paid that way, I will say. So with salary, the definition for salary is a set amount of money you make for a given amount of time, okay? I get paid X amount of dollars for the months that I work. You can either do it per year, per month, some might make it per week. It's not heard of very often. But the equation that we're going to use for this, and again, we're still talking about gross pay. Next week is actually when we're getting into net pay, what you actually get to bring home and put in your pocket. Remember, we call that our pocket pay or our net, thinking about fishing. But we're still just talking about gross pay, not taking out our taxes, that nice number on top. So our equation for this is gross pay equals our total salary divided by our period of time, okay? Notice it says period of time. Times can be different. We might want to break it down to, okay, how much do we get paid per year? How much do we get paid per month? How many months are in a year? I believe there's 12. Or we might want to break it down to how much do we get paid per week, okay? Those bills come in every week. Maybe we have to pay them weekly and figure out how much we're actually bringing home per week. How many weeks are there in a year? Well, you might have to look that one up. You think it starts with a 5 and ends with a 2, but I could be wrong, okay? So, if we look at our first example, again, in your packet that I'm going to provide with you, I'm going to do 2 examples with you from each. We're going to talk about salary, and then we're going to talk about commission. So I'm going to do 2 examples with you for salary, and then 2 examples with you for commission too. And then you're on your own to do the rest. I believe in you. I have faith you can do it. You got it. So, if we look at the first example, it says, suppose you were salaried at $43,500 a year. Calculate your weekly gross pay considering, it says 52 weeks in a year. I guess I was right. So if we look at this, again, we're getting paid this much per year. This is how many weeks are in a year. If we use our formula, we know that our gross pay is going to equal our total salary, which is this amount, $43,500, divided by our period of time. We're looking for weeks in this one, okay? Again, we know there's 52 weeks in a year, so we're going to divide it by 52. When I divided these, I got that I make per week, I actually got 836.5384615 in my calculator. Okay, what are we talking about again? Talking about money, right? So we're going to go 2 decimal places over, unless you figure out a way to cut pennies up and have people accept them. So I'm going to get 3. And remember, I like the number after it. 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. Pretty sure 8's higher than 5. So I'm going to get a total of $836.54. I changed that 3 to a 4. Okay? This second example actually has 2 parts to it. It says Sam Smith. All right, pretty sure Sam Smith actually sings. But this Sam Smith has accepted a job at Allardyce Hardware and is salaried at $4,323.32 a month. Pretty good salary, I think. Using 4 weeks in a month, which is typical, determine his weekly gross pay. Okay, that's for part A. Again, to figure out our gross, we are going to take how much he makes per month, which is $4,323.32, and divide it by 4. We want to figure out how much he actually makes per month, okay? Biggest thing with these problems is read them maybe read them again and see what they're actually asking. It's kind of like reading the directions that I always tell you guys to do. All right, so when you divided this, I got a total of, and this is exactly what came out of my calculator actually, $1,080.83. So we know, okay, that's how much he makes per week, right? He makes $1,080.83 per week. Then it says, if you flip over the paper to the next one, it says, suppose that he works an average of 38 hours a week. Determine his average hourly pay. If we know he makes this much per week, and he works 38 hours, can't we divide those two to figure out how much he makes per hour? Do you think it's important to figure out how much you make per hour? Are you making over minimum wage? Are you making under? Okay? How much is your time valuable to be working at this job? It's important to know how much to work or how much you're making per hour. So then for our gross, we are going to take how much he actually makes per week. So our 10, 80, 83, and divide it by how many hours he works per week. So if we break it down, when I divided these, Sam's actually doing pretty good. He is making $28.44 per hour. Okay? One thing I want to go back to really quick with our rounding, I tell all of you, every math teacher teaches a little bit differently. Okay? Remember, we all don't have the same background. You all haven't had the same math teachers. If you keep this 53, I'm okay with that. All right? Some math teachers tell you that no matter what, they're not giving you that extra penny. Some math teachers tell you to use your rounding rules, as I tell you. We all teach a little bit differently, so I'm fine with accepting any of those. I will tell you, on the practice problems, number 1, for the practice problem is very similar to number 1 here. I just want to talk about number 2 really quick. So if you're following along with me, again, feel free to pause this video at any time. But number 2, for the practice problems that you're doing on your own, it talks about bi-weekly. If someone gets paid bi-weekly, what does that mean? Okay? Means they get paid twice a week. So again, if there's 4 weeks in a month and they get paid bi-weekly, how often do they get paid that month? I believe they get paid twice, correct? All right, next one we are talking about is commission. In all of my classes, we have talked about commission before. Remember, it deals with a percent, okay? You probably make an hourly wage or a salary, and then you get paid a percentage on top of that. We have talked about some jobs. They get paid by commission. All right, car salesman. I know Sears isn't open anymore, but I used to have a student that used to work at Sears. You got paid by commission. So there's a couple jobs that still get paid by commission. If we look at this, all right, commission. And you have this definition right on your packet. It's the amount of money you make based on sales or services you sell. Okay, if you remember, we've talked about benefits to commission. We've also talked about drawbacks to commission. Now I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But what I want to look at is the examples. I want to walk you through 2 of them again. So for example, number 1, it says David works full-time at Taft Furniture. Okay, he makes $13.45 an hour and receives 13% commission on a total amount of furniture and other items he sells. In 1 week, he works 40 hours and sells $2,300 in products. Calculate his gross pay for the week. So again, just gross pay. We're not actually looking at how much we're bringing home, unfortunately, but what is he making on that top of that paycheck? So remember with commission, especially with these, and you will see the formulas on there. I'm not going to write them all down because you can see them right there. But for his gross pay, there's 2 different things we're thinking about here with David, okay? He gets paid hourly. So he gets paid an hourly rate, and then he also gets paid commission on top of that. So remember, the more that David sells, the better off he is. Okay? If we look at our hourly rate, break it down to the two different aspects. He makes $13.45 an hour. And again, we did this last week, so you should know how to do hourly. $13.45 an hour times how many hours did he work? He worked 40. Okay? That is his hourly pay that he's guaranteed no matter what. When I multiply this to those, I got $538 exactly. Okay? Then he gets paid commission. Remember, commission's a little bit tougher. He actually gets 13% commission on all of his sales. Okay? Remember, to figure out a percentage of a number, we need to change that to a decimal. Don't make me sing, because I will. All right, to the left, to the left. To change this percentage to a decimal, we move our decimal point to the left, to the left. If you want to play the Beyonce song on YouTube, you can do that too. It's at 18 seconds exactly on the video, and you can turn it on. So this would be 0.13%. Okay? So to figure out our commission, we know we change our percentage to a decimal. Again, do I have to put that 0 there? Nope. Does it make it easier for me to see that that's actual decimal in front of it? Yes. Okay? So 0.13 times, again, in total for his products, he sells $2,300. And then just multiply. Some of you think that you need to divide. If you divide, you're going to get a huge number. Okay? You can try dividing, and you should see that it's wrong. Remember to multiply here. And when I multiplied those two, I got $299. Okay? Don't forget that David wants to get paid for everything. All right? He doesn't want only his hourly wage, but he wants his commission on top of that. So with these two numbers, what are we going to do with the two of them? Annie, you going to help me? We're going to add the two of them. All right? So in total, for his gross pay, when I added those two, I got $837. All right? Again, that's that nice number on top. Example number 2. Stick with me for a couple more minutes, and then I'll let you go. But example number 2, we're talking about our good old friend Beverly. Beverly is salaried, actually. Okay? At $25,300 a year, and makes 21% commission on the total amount she sells. Suppose her business is only open 48 weeks of the year, and she sells an average of $550 a week. Determine her average weekly gross pay. If you need to stop and read these problems a couple times, please do it. I know I read this one 2 or 3 times just to make sure I knew exactly what I was looking for. So again, I'm going to break this down into 2 things. I know she gets paid salary, and she gets paid commission. All right, so her salary and her commission. And the biggest question is, what is this actually asking for? It's asking for her weekly gross pay. Okay? She gets paid $25,300 a year. Okay? And we know that she works 48 weeks. We need to figure out what her salary is per week, just like we did before when we divided. I'm going to divide this by 48 weeks to figure out what her salary is per week. Okay? When I divided these, I got 527.0833. Okay? Again, we're talking about money, right? So 2 decimal places. I'm going to look at that 3, and I'm going to look at the number after it. It's below 5, so guess what? I'm just going to leave it. Okay? Don't forget your units. With our commission, I know she makes 21%. Again, to the left, to the left. Move your decimal to the left twice. When you do that, it should be 0.21. So I'm going to take my decimal now, And I'm going to multiply it by how much she actually makes, which is how much she actually sells, which is $550 per week. When I multiply those two, I got a total of $115.50. Okay? I figured out how much she makes per week in salary, how much she makes per week in commission. Again, she wants to make all of it, correct? So we're going to add those two together to get a total of $642.58 per week gross pay. All right? Again, the exercises after, you have 3 examples to do, are similar to what I just set up. There shouldn't be anything too tricky, but if you have any questions at any time, please either send me a message on Google Classroom or email me. Okay? My email is always up here, so you can see it. Hope you guys are being safe and healthy. I miss all of you guys and can't wait to see you again. Talk to you later.